All right, so we're diving deep today into JK Paper's Q2 FY25 results.
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, people really want to know, like, what's happening with this company.
Hmm.
You know, they're a big player.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
Yeah, so we've got the press release, we got the, the raw numbers from the financials even. I think I saw some analyst questions in there.
Yeah, some good ones.
Yeah, so this is your cheat sheet to, like, what is really going on behind the scenes with JK Paper.
Yeah, they actually released those unaudited financials on November 4th.
Okay.
And it's an interesting story. So they actually hit 112% capacity utilization.
Wow.
Which is impressive.
It's like overclocking a factory.
Yeah, I mean, that's really working it. That basically means they are operating above their maximum potential. They are squeezing every bit of productivity out of their facilities.
But okay, hold on.
Yeah.
So 112%, that sounds great. But I also saw in the press release that there's a 2% dip in sales volume.
Right.
How does that work if they're running at max capacity?
Well, so that's where the kind of the nuances of the paper industry come in. So while they're producing more, there are also cheaper imports that are creating really stiff competition.
Oh, okay.
And it seems like JK Paper might be losing just a little bit of market share.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting part. Despite that dip in sales volume, their revenue actually increased by 1.6%.
Wait, so they're selling less,
Yeah.
but making more money.
Right.
So what's the deal?
It's the magic of paper. No, I'm just kidding. So it likely comes down to them strategically shifting towards higher value products.
Okay.
So that's where we get into the specialty papers, the coated papers that are used in high-end packaging and things like that. These command a premium price.
Oh, I see.
Compared to just your everyday paper.
So it's like trading up from economy class to business class.
Yeah, exactly.
You're selling fewer seats, but you're making more money.
You got it.
Okay, clever move.
Yeah.
But let's see if it actually, translates into a healthy bottom line.
Right.
What do the consolidated financial statements tell us?
Let's see. So revenue, first of all, 1,777 crore for the quarter.
Okay.
Slight increase.
Yeah.
But maybe not the home run we'd expect, given that 112% capacity utilization.
Right, right.
So this is where we need to look beyond just the top line and dig into profitability.
Okay.
So EBITDA, which measures the company's operating profitability, it took a significant hit. It's down to 296 crore.
Okay. Red flag alert.
Yeah.
EBITDA, I know that's a big deal, but just remind me, like, why does that matter so much?
So think of EBITDA as like the cash flow engine of the business.
Okay.
It shows you how much cash JK Paper is generating from its core operations before you account for things like interest, taxes, depreciation, and all of that.
Oh, okay.
So a decline in that could mean that rising costs are eating into their margins.
And speaking of rising costs, what about wood prices? I imagine that must be hitting JK Paper pretty hard. They use a lot of wood to make paper.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wood costs are major in this industry.
Yeah.
And they've been on an upward trajectory for a while now. So it'll be interesting to see how this impacts their PBT and their PAT, which are your profit before tax and profit after tax.
Yeah.
Which are the ultimate indicators of the company's overall profitability.
So we've got a slight revenue increase,
right?
A worrying dip in EBITDA, and like this specter of high wood costs looming over everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a mixed bag so far.
For sure.
But I have to admit, I was looking at the financials, and there was one thing that really caught my eye.
Oh, yeah.
A pretty big jump in other income.
Interesting.
Like, what's driving that? It seems almost too good to be true.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely want to delve into the notes that accompany the financial statements to really understand what's behind that other income surge.
Yeah.
It could be a one-off gain.
Right.
It could be some new avenue of revenue they've tapped into.
Yep.
But either way, it's worth investigating.
Definitely a curious clue in this mystery we're unraveling here.
Right.
But try to really figure out what's going on. We need to get some expert analysis.
Right.
That's where these analyst questions come in handy.
Absolutely.
They're really like, they're digging beneath the surface here.
Right. And one of the big things they were talking about is those cheaper imports.
Yeah.
And how that's eating into JK Paper's market share. They were digging into how the company is responding to that.
Yeah.
Particularly their focus on, high value segments like coated paper and packaging board.
Okay, so they're trying to fight off the competition by going more high-end?
Yeah, they're trying to focus on products where price is maybe less of a factor.
Makes sense. But even with the fancy paper, those wood costs are still going to sting.
Oh, yeah.
I remember reading about JK Paper's big tree planting initiatives.
Right.
Have those started to pay off at all?
That's what's fascinating about this,
Yeah.
is that JK Paper's sustainability efforts,
Mm-hmm.
and particularly their farm forestry initiatives, are more than just good PR.
Yeah.
This is actually a strategic response to this exact issue.
Oh, okay.
Remember those 134 crore saplings they've planted?
Yeah, that's a hard number to even picture.
That's a lot of trees.
It is.
And that is a huge part of their plan to secure their wood supply and reduce their reliance on external sources.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
It's very forward thinking.
So they're literally planting the seeds
Yeah.
for their future success.
Exactly.
It's not just about being green, it's about smart business.
Right?
Okay, that's a story I want to hear more about.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, but before we get too deep into the green side of things,
Right.
what about the analysts? They weren't just concerned about imports and wood costs.
Right.
What else were they kind of digging into?
Well, they were looking at how JK Paper's financials compare to other listed players in the industry.
Oh, okay.
How do they stack up against the competition?
Yeah.
And they were also looking at things like any changes in stock ratings or price targets
Uh-huh.
that are set by financial analysts. So this kind of comparative analysis, that can reveal, where JK Paper is strong and where they might be a little bit weaker
Yeah.
compared to their rivals.
Okay.
But that's a discussion for our next installment.
Oh, a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm already hooked.
Good.
We got some clues to follow that jump in other income,
Right.
this battle against the cheaper imports,
Uh-huh.
and then the long game of sustainability.
Yeah.
It's like a financial thriller,
Yeah.
but with paper.
Exactly.
Okay, I love it.
We'll be back soon to unravel the rest of the story.
Can't wait. Okay, so welcome back.
Back for more.
Back for more. Last we left off, we were looking at this pretty big jump in other income
Right.
on the balance sheet for JK Paper.
Yeah, it's like it's like you find this extra piece of a puzzle.
Yeah.
You're like, well, now I gotta figure out where it fits.
Right, exactly.
So
So,
we did some digging.
Okay.
And we looked at the financial statements. We looked at those really important footnotes.
yeah, those are important.
Yeah, always read the footnotes. And it seems like this other income boost, it comes from a couple of interesting places.
Okay, spill the beans. What did your financial sleuthing uncover?
So first of all, there's a significant increase in dividend income
Okay.
that they're getting from their investments. So JK Paper is clearly managing their surplus funds wisely. They're generating additional returns.
So it's not just about making paper. They're also playing the investment game.
Yeah, they're diversifying their portfolio.
Okay, not bad. But what about that second piece of the other income puzzle?
All right, so this one's a bit more technical.
Okay.
It has to do with foreign exchange gains.
Foreign exchange. That's a
Yeah.
whole other language to me.
It can be. But basically, JK Paper operates internationally.
Right.
So they are exposed to the ups and downs of currency exchange rates.
Yeah.
And sometimes those fluctuations, they work in their favor.
Yeah.
And that seems to be what happened this quarter.
So they're kind of riding the wave of a favorable currency market.
Yeah, you could say that. There's definitely an element of, good timing.
Right.
But, foreign exchange gains can be fickle.
Yeah.
What the market gives, the market can take away.
Very true. Very true. Okay, so we got a mix of smart investments
Right.
and a little bit of currency magic
Yeah.
that help pump up this other income.
Exact.
Mystery solved.
Mystery.
But now I'm even more curious about this whole sustainability thing.
Right.
It seems like a really big part of their story.
It is. When you look at JK Paper, their commitment to sustainability it's baked into everything they do.
Yeah.
From, where they source their materials to how they engage with the community. This isn't just some side project. It's part of their DNA.
Let's go beyond those 134 core saplings for a second.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm picturing a forest like the size of a small country at this point.
Yeah, a lot of trees.
But how do these farm forestry initiatives actually work?
So this is key. They don't actually own all the land where those trees are growing.
Oh, okay.
They partner with farmers.
Okay.
And they provide them with seedlings, with training, support to cultivate these eucalyptus plantations. The farmers retain ownership of the land.
Oh, okay.
and they benefit directly from the trees they grow.
So they're creating a win-win. They're securing their future wood supply, but they're also like empowering local communities.
That's the idea.
Okay.
Create that win-win.
But how do you manage a program of that scale?
That's a good question.
Like 134 crore saplings. It's mind-boggling.
It's a lot to keep track of. It takes a lot of meticulous planning,
Yeah.
on-the-ground coordination,
Yeah.
a depth understanding of forestry, of community dynamics.
Right.
They have dedicated teams working with the farmers, providing technical expertise,
Yeah.
monitoring the progress of these plantations.
It sounds like a logistical masterpiece.
It's a big operation.
It is. But
Yeah.
their commitment to sustainability goes beyond just planting trees.
Oh, absolutely.
What about, reducing their environmental impact in the manufacturing process?
Yeah, so it's really a holistic approach.
Okay.
They've invested heavily in renewable energy, so, solar, wind power. And they're constantly looking at ways to reduce water consumption, waste generation. Think of it as squeezing more efficiency out of every drop and every watt.
All right, so they're getting greener in their operations.
Right.
And how they're sourcing things.
Huh.
But what about the products themselves?
Yeah.
Have they, gotten on board with like the eco-friendly paper products?
They're not just on board, they're kind of driving the train.
Really?
Yeah. JK Paper has been a leader in developing these eco-friendly alternatives to traditional paper products.
So it's not just about being sustainable, it's also about like tapping into a whole new market.
Right, exactly. The market for these environmental conscious consumer.
Yeah, and businesses too, I bet.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. But are people actually willing to pay a premium for these eco-friendly options?
That's the big question.
Mm-hmm.
The market is evolving,
Yeah.
but there's no doubt the demand is growing.
Yeah, especially with more consumers, and I guess businesses too,
Right.
wanting to, kind of vote with their wallet.
Exactly.
But this goes beyond just the feel-good factor.
Right.
How is JK Paper actually measuring the impact of all these sustainability things they're doing?
So they track a whole bunch of different metrics.
Okay.
Everything from their carbon emissions,
Yeah.
water usage,
Uh-huh.
to, the number of trees they're planting,
Right.
to the socioeconomic impact of their community programs. And they're not shy about sharing this data. They put it in their sustainability reports.
Transparency is key.
Absolutely. You got to walk the walk, show the receipts.
Yeah, but here's the big question, though.
Yeah.
Are these efforts actually translating into, like, business benefits?
That's a tricky one.
Yeah.
It's not always easy to isolate the direct financial impact of these sustainability initiatives.
Right.
It's all kind of interwoven with their overall business strategy,
Yeah.
with their brand reputation,
Right.
even how investors perceive them.
So it's a long game.
It is.
But it seems like JK Paper is betting that sustainability isn't just about, doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It's about doing the smart thing
Absolutely.
for their business in the long run.
Yeah. They're trying to future-proof themselves.
Right.
By aligning their operations with, the values of a changing world.
Okay, I like it. But even the most sustainable ship has to deal with some toppy waters.
Oh, yeah.
So in our final act,
Uh-huh.
we're going to look at the challenges
Right.
and the opportunities
Yeah.
that lie ahead for JK Paper,
Exactly.
the trends that are shaping the paper industry,
Uh-huh.
the competitive landscape,
Right.
and the risks they need to watch out for.
Lots of good stuff.
Stay tuned.
Mhm.
We're gonna delve into the crystal ball of the paper industry
Yes, we are.
and see what the future holds for JK Paper.
It's going to be fun.
Okay, so we've really gone deep with JK Paper, looked at their financials,
Yeah.
dove into that weird other income,
Right.
and of course their commitment to sustainability.
Right.
But now it's time to look ahead.
Yeah, what's next?
What's next for JK Paper? How do they navigate this crazy paper industry?
Well, it is a fascinating industry. I mean,
Yeah.
it's constantly evolving, new technologies,
Yeah.
shifting consumer habits, the global economy.
It's always a wild card.
It is. JK Paper needs to, they need to be nimble to stay ahead of the curve.
Okay, let's talk trends.
Okay.
What are the big forces shaping the future of paper?
So one of the, I'd say the most significant is the shift towards digitalization.
Right.
The rise of e-commerce, online publishing, digital communication. It's really impacted the demand for traditional paper products.
Yeah, I mean, I think about, like, we all use less paper in our daily lives now,
Oh, yeah.
you know? I remember when printers were like, they were a staple in every office.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, I feel like a lot of offices, they just have one just gathering dust in the corner.
Right. They're almost like a novelty now.
Yeah. But surely this doesn't mean the paper industry is like on its way out.
No, not
Yeah.
at all.
Okay.
But certain segments are definitely facing headwinds.
Okay.
So, things like your printing and writing paper.
Yeah, the everyday stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But other areas are experiencing a lot of growth,
Oh,
like packaging, for instance.
okay.
That is booming.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, fueled by, e-commerce.
Yeah.
The demand for sustainable packaging solutions.
Oh, interesting.
So it's not so much paper versus digital.
Yeah.
It's more about adapting
Right.
to the changing needs of the market.
So JK Paper, it seems like they've kind of recognized this shift
Yeah,
with their focus on packaging board.
right.
It's not just about, making reams of A4 paper anymore.
Exactly. They've strategically positioned themselves
Yeah.
to capitalize on this packaging boom. But there's the, as you mentioned, the environmental angle as well.
Right, because more packaging, even if it's, made sustainably,
Right.
it's still more resources.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just imagining like mountains of cardboard boxes
Well,
piling up.
their focus on, sustainability carries over into their packaging solutions.
Okay.
So they're coming up with new recyclable, biodegradable options that are designed to minimize waste.
So it's not just a PR stunt.
No.
They're really putting their money where their mouth is.
Exactly.
That's good to see. But they're not the only player in the game.
Oh, no, not at all.
What's the competitive landscape look like?
So the paper industry, it's a tough one.
Okay.
Very competitive, both in India and globally.
Uh-huh.
JK Paper is up against some established players
Yeah.
and some, pretty nimble newcomers.
Okay, so what are JK Paper's strengths?
Well, they have a long-standing reputation for quality and reliability.
Well,
Their distribution network is well established,
okay.
and they've, really worked on cultivating strong relationships with their customers.
Right.
And then, of course, their sustainability efforts
Yeah.
are increasingly becoming a real differentiating factor.
So they're playing the long game. They're, building a reputation,
Right.
nurturing those relationships.
Yeah.
And they really trying to position themselves as the responsible choice
Exactly.
in a world that's demanding that more and more.
Yeah, for sure.
But, let's not forget those wood costs.
Right.
Even with, the millions of trees they're planting, that's got to be a constant pressure.
Absolutely it is.
Yeah.
For any paper manufacturer, securing a stable and affordable supply of raw materials it's essential.
Yeah.
That's where those farm forestry initiatives become so important.
Okay.
By partnering with farmers, to grow that eucalyptus, they're not just mitigating the price volatility, they're also contributing to rural livelihoods.
Oh, wow.
They're helping to foster a more sustainable ecosystem.
So it's like a win-win-win.
It's a triple bottom line.
I like it. But are there other growth opportunities that they could explore?
Well, there's always room for innovation.
Yeah.
They could, expand their product portfolio,
Okay.
maybe venture into some niche markets, some specialty papers, that command higher margins.
Yeah.
Strategic acquisitions, partnerships,
Right.
things that would allow them to tap into new technologies, strengthen their market presence.
Okay, so they've got a solid foundation.
Yeah.
They got that commitment to sustainability.
Yeah.
They're looking to the future.
Right.
But even the best laid plans.
Yeah, you never know.
What are some of the risks?
Well, the global economic climate is a big one.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
currency fluctuations, all those things can really impact their bottom line.
Yeah.
And then, like any company in a dynamic industry, they have to stay on top of, new technologies
Right.
and the changing tastes of consumers.
So it's like they're sailing in uncharted waters.
It is, you got to be prepared for storms,
Yeah.
shifting currents. You might even discover a few new islands along the way.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Yeah, so they need, agility, adaptability, foresight,
Right.
if they want to stay ahead of the curve.
But it sounds like they got the right stuff.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would you say is like the key takeaway here?
I'd say that, JK Paper, their journey is really a testament to how a traditional industry can not only survive, but can really thrive in a world that's, constantly changing.
Right.
And they've really, shown that sustainability isn't just about, corporate responsibility.
Yeah.
It can actually be a real driver for growth and innovation.
It's a good reminder that even in our crazy digital world paper, it still has a role to play.
It does.
But it's changing.
Yeah.
It's evolving.
Yeah.
It's becoming more sustainable.
Right.
And companies like JK Paper they're leading the way.
Yeah, they're setting the standard.
So I think this deep dive has really given us a lot to think about. The financials, sustainability, the dynamics of this global industry.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that behind every number, there's a story.
There is.
Waiting to be uncovered.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, and until next time, keep diving deep.